Video wanted to go over how I source my Bookmine or how I source books on Bookmine. I kind of have been doing a little bit different lately, just because the last few times I've had struggling to find books, and that I think it's more user error than the Bookmine's problem. I haven't really been using the filters as much, and that it kind of caught up to me a little bit. Um, so what I was doing was, and then I don't think. Sorry, I just had to make sure everything was working. Um, I wasn't really filtering. I was just kind of going through it, looking at it, and which you can find books that way. Like, look at this book. That's an amazing Christmas book. Looks like, but um, I would just go down here and sort through the profit meter, take the profit meters out, and then go through those. See, it reduces to 450. But I even took it one step further lately, and I've been changing my used price slider. I've been changing it up to 30, which I know it's you're you're sacrificing all the books that are less than 30, but I've found that a lot of these books are less likely to be found because people are trying to squeeze out whatever they can with as little money spent as possible. I don't know. That's because maybe it's because a lot of people jump in, test the waters out with those low hanging fruits, and then whenever it doesn't work, they bounce, and then they never really get to the point where they're actually buying these type of books. I don't know for sure. This one, it looks like the graph right here looks really good actually, down to 33. But when I click on it, these are the type of books I try to stay away from. It says book plus online exam prep. This tells me that it is a book, but it also comes with associated media, which you never know. This book could only be valuable because of the associated media, which you gotta be kind of careful with those books. Um, these books that I'm sorting right now, going back to the $30, I just feel like they're more. It's gonna be more the people who are serious that look into these books, and it's not like the masses. You know what I'm saying? Like the people just getting into it, trying to figure out, this book flipping thing. And if they can't figure it out, then they're done. They can move on. Let's see here. This one doesn't look bad. You'd be spending a lot of money though. Um, as of right now, I'm not too concerned in my business. I'm not too concerned like spending high dollar for a book to if I can safely say that I'll get a good return on it. I think the other day I spent 200 some odd dollars on two books. Well, the same book, but two copies of it. And that was just because, I was pretty confident that I would be able to double that money pretty quickly, at least into the seasonal period in August. So right now, this one's looking like we can probably get it 73.80 for the lowest, and it's got sales up at 124.99. So it does have sales in the 70s and even in the 200s, but it looks like its true value is more like down in the 120 to 100 to 120 ish area. It doesn't look like there's gonna be much to go off of. Yeah, you see back here it was a lot lower too. So historically, it's not really a great book. For the past year, it did look like a pretty decent book. This one's got some spikes, but it looks like the spikes come after the dip. Maybe right here we can maybe squeeze out something, but for $62, I doubt it. This one doesn't. It looks like it's coming off of the spikes. This one doesn't look too bad. Let's take a look at this one. I need to log in because my seller amp isn't logged in right now, so I can't tell if I'm eligible to sell books or not. Print loose leaf. I like loose leaves. Let's see. So let's go. I'm gonna go ahead and log in real fast. That way I can tell if I need to change things up or not. Or I guess see if I'm eligible to sell a book or not, because sometimes I am not, and that's really frustrating whenever you find a golden book and you're like, everything checks off, and then you go up and you find out you can't actually sell it. You're like, oh, okay, that sucks. All right, so we are able to sell this. See, sell it. If you don't know, this is SellerAmp. It's a tool that kind of just puts everything right in front of you. It's really useful. There is a link in the description if you want to check it out. As well as Bookmine. Got a 15-day free trial down there too if you want to check that out. Definitely recommend it. I would recommend the mid tier. I think that's $159.99 a month. Pretty expensive, but for me, it's more of a teaching tool anymore. I still use it to source, but for me, like Joji and Victor do the classes, and it's just invaluable to me to get those classes in. All right, so it's 62. Looks like someone picked this one up already, because looks like the lowest right now is 96.94, which is a little high for this book. I think that the true value is more like around that 115 price. It does seem to spike up though a little bit for the seasons, up into 146, even 150s. But I probably wouldn't pull the trigger at 96, 90 or 62. Yeah, 62, I think you could squeeze some profit out on this one, but kind of cutting it close with it. Move on. All right, so this one doesn't look bad either. Home inspection manual. Doesn't seem to have like a year on it. These books that are like the real estate books, whenever they got a year on the front page of them or the front cover of them, I'm always like, you don't know what they're going to do in the future. You know, if a new copy comes out, it could make this one completely obsolete, and, you know, you'll have to go and find a whole different book. Find the new copy and see if that one's worth it or not, you know, for the next couple years or so. But looks like we got 45.78. This one consistently sells up there above the 120s. And it's sold for higher in the past. Back here, it was still selling in the hundreds. So this is a really good one, actually. Let's see what's acceptable. Yeah, it is acceptable. 89 positive feedback, which kind of sucks. But this one right here. So 53.44. It is a little more obviously than this one. If you want to go for the risk of acceptable, then obviously this is the better one to go for. But you know, you're risking it being less than acceptable because this guy, it is a big conglomerate company. So you can get lucky and they could just send you a good copy because they just don't want to condition their books. But I try to stay above 90% at least on the positives. I know this one's kind of borderline. But I would probably just spend the extra, however much that is. What is that? 5, 6, 7, 8, 9 something to do the 53.44. Because even if we got it at 53.44 and we sold it, we'll say the low at 115, still making $31 of profit. Like, that's huge. And 115 is definitely low. It's on the low side. Like the lowest it's been recently is 84, and you're breaking even at the lowest it possibly has been in the last while, which right somewhere in here. Oh, 70. So 79 is the lowest it's been, but 84 right here is low, and then 73 back here. So if we do sell it for the low of 73, you're losing some money, but not much. You're still pretty close to breaking even. But I would not even expect to sell. I put my minimum probably at, we'll say 99. That would be my minimum, and I'd be minimally making $17, which is amazing. You know, right now the used offer count is at 62, which does kind of suck. Let's see, so we're actually less than we were a year ago with the used offer count, but not by much. But I still think that this is a solid book. It's going to pop back up. These ones that are low are going to sell out. We still can't filter. I hate that they took away the prime filter. You can't filter it through the primes. But let's see. This one I'm pretty sure is a prime, which they've only got one in stock, so that's going to sell pretty quickly. We got 1, 2, 3, and then it pops up to 86. So really our only competition as of now, as long as the buy block apocalypse doesn't come back, or as of right now, our only competition is 62, and then it pops up to 86. And, 86, we're still making a little bit of money. Obviously, you don't want to sell at that price. You definitely want to get it for more. But once we're past those two, then we're up into the hundreds. So this is definitely a book I would go for. I would probably go for the good price because Goodwill's always doing some good things. They always under condition, it seems like. Maybe not all of them, but all the ones that I've dealt with. So I'm definitely throwing that in the cart. If you guys want to and you're watching this live, you can go check that out. Go buy that book. Go check out with it. If not, then I'm going to snag it once this live is done. I don't go through them just because it shows my address and stuff whenever I do that. And it's, headache to deal with to blur it out and all that. And I really don't know how to blur it out on lives. So this is where we're at. I'm going to throw it in the cart. If you want it, go grab it. If not, I'll grab it once the live's done. The Art Forger's Handbook. I haven't seen this one before. Let's see. I am eligible. Let's see. We got 63. I try to wait and let SLRamp load just to see if I'm eligible right off the bat because I want to know if I can sell the book before I analyze everything and then get excited about it. It's like I was saying earlier, it sucks whenever you analyze a perfect golden book and then you realize, oh, I can't sell this. That's why it's perfectly golden. Let's see. So right now we're at 40, and it doesn't look like it doesn't really go high enough for me to buy it at 40. Maybe whenever it dropped down to this 21 for sure price, but it doesn't do that often. But at 40, looks like the price that we could safely say that we could sell that as like 70 to 80. But that's not at a $40 price. 70, 80 isn't gonna cut it because let's go up here and let's put it in SellerAmp. 40. What was it? 40, 48. And let's say we got it sold at 70. It's not a horrible profit. It's still $9. If we got it for 80, that's a pretty dang good book actually for this situation at 40, 48, and it's good condition. There's only 2 of them, and then it pops up. This one's like new. That's kind of cool, but 79% positive feedback rating for the seller. That concerns me. And then these 63, 64, these are FBA, so this is your competition, so you do have to be kind of careful about that. Ooh. Okay, so here's another thing. You gotta kind of watch out for this right here. So I'll put money that if you buy this book and you price it at, say, this 89 price, anywhere above the 64 price, they're gonna get you with a high pricing error. The reason I say that is because it's, these ones down here, it's used good at 40, 49, 63, 64, and then once you get up into that 89 price, it goes to collectible, and then everything above that is collectible. So this and you can see that this book has been, the used price has been kind of coming in and out and hasn't really been consistent, and it even goes up to 8 and then goes down to nothing with no real reasoning. There's not like a whole bunch of sales rank drops right here to say that it went from 8 to 0, for any reason. And the used offer count is just blinking in and out. So for me, that tells me that it's probably not worth it. And then you can see that the collectible just keeps rising right here. It's probably because people are getting hit with it. High pricing error, and the only thing you can really do is change it to collectible, and that it's just not worth it to me to deal with that crap because I really don't like changing things to collectible. process, and it's annoying. So I'll put money that this is the high pricing error issue, and you'll probably have to price it below that 89, which 89 isn't bad. Like if you could get it at 80, I don't know if they're gonna hit you with it. Like right here, they're getting it 85, 82. So you might be able to price it still at that 80 price and still get something. But for me, it seems like a headache book. I would probably avoid it just in case. There's plenty of other books out there to throw your money at, you know, rather than one that you're like, oh man, this is going to cause me a headache. All right, so moving on. This looks like it might be a seasonal book. There is a newer edition. Need to be aware of that. The newer edition looks like it's been out for a minute. Are we eligible? Numero uno. No, we are not eligible. See right there. So right now, I'm not even going to go any further because I see I'm not eligible. There's no reason to even try to figure out if I can sell this. But let's look at the newer edition. Sometimes you're able to sell the newer edition and not the older edition. Why? I have no idea, but that is what it is. Let's see. Eligibility. Probably not, but might as well try. Yes. See how weird that is? This one definitely check counterfeit. Make sure that you're good to go with that area too, because that's also another issue with these, especially college books and high school books. So we are unlikely. So we're good to go with this book, but not the older one, which makes no sense. But it is what it is. So it definitely has a little bit of seasonality. It looks like college seasonality. Got the August dip and the January, February dip right here. 53. So we could safely say we get around the 50s. Right now it's at $25.99 at the low, and it looks like it's a prime offer. Another prime offer at 26, so we'll have to pay shipping. So right here is probably the price you have to go for it. And there's 13 of them. It's not really a competition. It's a FBM seller. And so you might be able to squeeze it through. But at 26, it's not really worth it to sell it at 50. You're going to need to go a little bit higher to justify that. Otherwise, you're kind of... You're burning it at both ends. You're not really going to make much money is what I'm pretty much trying to say. Let's see here. I looked at this book the other day. I think that I'm not eligible to sell it or something. Something was up with it. Here's one of those. This is an amazing looking graph right here. You want to see these dips right here with the sales rank and then the spike with the used offer counts, price. It's just an amazing graph. But this is one of those law books. And from what I understand, is whenever a new copy comes out with these law books, it's just kills the old ones. So, this year this graph looks amazing, but then you go into the next year, you're trying to predict if it's gonna do this again. And with these law books, apparently, whenever they come out with a new edition, you can't really count on them doing the same thing they did the year prior, because it just makes the old copies obsolete when a new one comes out. Yeah, from what I understand, I'm not a lawyer. I didn't go to law school or anything. I don't understand that. I just understand that, I've been burnt like crazy with those books from seeing those type of graphs and thinking, oh, I hit the gold mine. And then I purchase them, and of course they don't do anything. And then I'm like, oh crap, I'm stuck with this book now. That's going to lose me $20-$30 on one book. It's never a fun situation to be in. So I just avoid those completely. I'm not even trying to take the risk. If you got the money to throw around and you can take the risk, I mean, shoot, you saw that graph, man. You would triple your money pretty easily if it works out. Because I doubt there's no way that all of them get a reboot. There's no way that every single law book gets a new edition every year. There has to be some of them that slide by into the next year, but it's like you're gambling almost at that point. Like, all right, this one's gonna make it. I'm not much of a gambler. I'd rather have a more educated guess than that. Dang, look at this one. This one's selling way up into the 500s. $353 though for the low right now. If you could get this one and sell it and make a quick $200, then heck yeah. Looks like someone already picked up the $300 price. Yeah, it popped up to 5. So yeah, it's getting sales back here at 600, 1,000, 600. That's crazy. This is a crazy book. And this used offer count isn't rising. This would be a good book if you bought it at that right price. I mean, even at this $500 price, you might be able to squeeze something out of it. If it sells for 1,227, that's insane. What is this? Behavioral neuroscience. I'll do one more check because I bet you this might be an issue right here. Oh, unlikely. 30-cent buyback. That's weird. This is a strange book. I don't know why it's going for so much. Maybe that's the best price you can get it for, I guess. Moving on. We got, let's see, 50 juvenile justice. This one doesn't look bad. Doesn't look, let's say it's at 32 right now, and it looks like it's popping up into the maybe the 60s, 70s. The buy box right now is at 33.67. It is a FBA seller. It has like new. There's three. It looks like he's got 3 of them in stock. Yeah, we got 70. Looks like right at 60. 79. 62, 73, 74. So I mean, it's tough to say. But this doesn't. If it was lower, I probably would go for this. But at 32.81 is an acceptable book. See, there's 33. So there's 3 of these 33s, which is the prime offer, and then we got 32.81, 32.81. So we got 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10, 11, 12, 13. 14, 15. Yeah, there's too many. Just holding the price down there. It's going to take a while, and there's not enough sales rank drops to justify saying that it's going to bring it back up. I don't think it will. For a while, at least. I could be wrong, though. I have definitely been wrong on books before. Let's see. Calcium. Let's see here. So we only have 105 books to look at, and we just looked at 75 of them. So we're coming up on the end of these that we just have. Let's see here. No. This one looks promising. One of the best video games ever made, too. Let's see here. 99.99, 68.77 is what we can get it for. Looks like the buy box is at 99, and it's sold several times for that 90-ish price. Has sold for a little bit higher before and lower. So 68 is a little high. I don't think that would be the best price. If we get 53, that would be a better price. But if we got it, we'll go, what was it, 68, 68.77, and say we got it at that price of 99. Yeah, we're making $4 on the high end. That's a no immediately. If that was like the low, like the lowest I think I could sell it for, then yeah, definitely go for that. But since it's a little bit higher, or since it's the high price that I could sell it at, that's immediate no. Moving on. Let's see here. What is this one? Always makes me concerned whenever I see like points on the graph where the used offer count is just not there. It just kind of bleeps out almost. Looks like I've already looked at this book before. Looks like I've already bought this book before. Not too long ago, a little over 10 days ago. And I bought it at $37.93, and right now it's at $35.96. This is definitely not a multiple purchase book, in my opinion. It looks like I might be fighting collectible issues with this one too, as like you can see there's 3 used offer counts, and then it just disappears. I mean, there is quite a bit of sales rank drops, so it might be, that they just sold out, but I'm assuming, especially since the collectibles offer count kind of rose, and you can see this light blue line, this is rising. That tells me that it's, they probably got kicked off the listing for a used offer, and then they took a little bit, and then they started just listing it as collectible because they couldn't get it at the price that they wanted for the used. And then as more people changed it over to collectible, the collectible price, slowly went down and down and down and down, and is now at the 80 price that it is. So once this checks in for me, I might have to do the same thing. I might have to throw it on to the collectible issue, but we shall see on it. Let's see here. Moving the earth. Doesn't look bad. This one at 59 looks like the usual price is at 99 though. Right there at the 100 price. That one, 33. This one doesn't look bad. Look into this one a little bit more. Paperback is $33. 46, nah. Dang it. 66, 70, 73, 74, 33. So if we got it, let's look at the actual offer. So it is a prime offer, so I am going to have to be paying shipping. I would just need $2 more to not. So no, just move on from that. Another law book. Stay away from that. In my opinion. If you understand the ebbs and flows of those, then go for it, but I don't. Let's see here. No. There's a hunting book. Sometimes they're good seasonal books for the hunting season, which, depends on the animal, but this one looks like an amazing graph. But you see, you have to get every single one of these books. And some of these big conglomerate companies, whenever they have all these books, they'll find one, scan it in, and it'll be this ISBN number, and they'll list it, not knowing that it's, however many books this is, and then whenever you buy it, you're like, oh my goodness, this is an amazing price. You'll buy it, receive one book instead of the set, and then you'll have to do a return, and yeah, it's just a headache. Looks like we got 5 more books to analyze on this. 70. No. 59. Does kind of pop up, but it looks like it's several books. And it is 2018 on there, so there's definitely newer editions. And that's about it. Well, we didn't really have too much luck of finding books using the filters that I use. But obviously, if you're not having luck on one filter, change it up. Either raise the used offer price, lower it, widen it open or something like that. If you raise it, you're going to just see the same books if you just saw. But so lower it down, look for the ones that are, a little bit less than what you want to be looking for. Because you'll still find books in those lower profit or lower spending areas. You're just, is in my opinion, and what I've seen is that the lower you go, if you're trying to buy those just only $10 books, there's a lot more competition. And then the higher you go, the less competition there's going to be, because a lot more people are going to look at that, say $40, $50, $60 book that you have to spend in order to, sell it for 150, 200, and higher. They're going to look at those and say, well, I don't want to spend a whole $50 on this one book. Because a lot of people just starting out, how I was, whenever I saw a book like that, it was like, well, I could buy this one book, or I could buy 5 different books at $10. You know what I'm saying? So it just seems to be less competition up there in the higher price ranges. If you got the cash flow to handle it. If you don't, stay down there in that low area until you finally have the cash flow to eventually look at that type of thing. And it does take time. I've been at this for 4 years, but I've changed my sourcing methods up so many times that I reset myself so many times. So stick with one method and you'll go a lot farther. But thanks for watching, guys, and we'll